What does freedom mean to you? Does it mean the freedom to choose? The freedom to have a family and raise your kids according to your own values? What about living a wild, adventurous life, experimenting with music, relationships, or art? What does freedom really mean? What if freedom meant something that only a few Americans still understood? What if it meant that your choices and your values were set by you, rather than by some politician in a far-off capital? Some people think we're only free to choose to live exactly how they live, by their moral code, or their narrow worldviews. But if liberty means anything, it means that you, and you alone, have the power to exercise your rights to which the laws of nature and nature's God granted you. It's time to put these principles back into action. It's time to restore the American dream, activate in our communities, and take our country back. It's time to wake up, America. Good morning. Happy Friday. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. Boy, have I got a special show for you today. It's Family Friday, which means, of course, we've got a Petersen in the house. Not just me, Steffi P. Good morning. Everybody give her a round of applause. Nice to see you, Stephanie. And since it's Family Friday, we've got another Petersen in the house. Wait a minute. It's an investor. Another Petersen in the house. Good morning, CJ.
Good morning.
Nice to have you on the show today. Appreciate you coming in here today in studio. Can you believe this is the very first time that we have had 3 people on set in studio? So
This in the Guinness Book of World Records.
it is. Yeah, I'm sure it will. It's kind of like Stephanie had never seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure until the other day. And so it'll be like, Stephanie and I will be like the Wild Stallions, where like 2,000 years from now, they'll be playing the Wake Up America show clips. They'll be like, look, the great ones. This is when...
People in a studio.
This is...
This Never been done before, right?
Yes. Also, we'd love it if we could set a record today for super chats. If you want to help support the show on YouTube, make sure that you head over to youtube.com/AP4Liberty. We'd love a super chat just because we got Camellia in the house. Of course, you can always text the show for free, and we'd love to have your texts at 573-319-1586. Let's get the show started. The story of Eliza Bleu is beginning to unravel. A woman who became close to Elon Musk, ostensibly because she reached out to him to ask for help in fighting against sex trafficking, is causing quite a stir online in that she is asking for people and successfully suppressing the Twitter accounts of people who are calling her out for being an imposter. We'll talk about that story at the top of the show this morning. Be aware there aren't very many primary sources that are available about this story. So what we are piecing together from a lot of he said, she said, a lot of accusations that are flying around. So we want to make sure that you understand that we're doing the absolute best diligence we can to give you the best available information, but that a lot of this information that is coming out right now is just unable to be verified. We'll do our best for you. We can't promise we'll 100% get it right because this is a news and opinion show, so you're going to get our opinions on some things. After that today, we've got a great lineup for you of topics. We're going to talk about whether it's better to have a boss who's a millennial than a boomer. It's a great article that I shared with my lovely wife, Stephanie, yesterday. We were talking about whether or not it's better to have a boss who's a millennial. A girl came out and talked about how great her millennial boss was and sort of helping her with her issues. So I wonder, have you had a millennial boss yet? Have you had a boomer boss? I'm sure many of us have. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, on whether or not you've had bosses of different generations and if they govern differently. I'd love to hear from you about that. Let us know what you think in the chat. After that, we're going to talk today about Yale researchers find how highly successful people argue. Yes, great minds talk about ideas. So from Yale, we will talk about a great idea. And you know how I love to argue by just calling people a bitch? Well, apparently that's not the best way to do it. So if you want to be more successful than myself, then perhaps you ought to listen to these Yale researchers. We'll talk about that at 7:30. And procrastinating could be a sign of serious health problems. I know Chris Morrill's saying right now he wants to blame the stag beer, but it could be a real serious health problem, Chris, that you might need to get checked out while you're not getting enough work done. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I'm just teasing Chris, but here's the reality. Chris Morrill gets up early and is there at 7 a.m. or, when the show starts, like not very many people. What do we got? 15 people now watching here, and it's going to double and, maybe even more than that here in about an hour when people finally start to get their lazy butts up. So We got you, Chris. You know, we know you're not lazy. Yes. At 8 o'clock this morning, I've got a story for you. Of France, the French embassy of the United States. Apparently, the French has become a slur. Yes, and we're going to talk about that. Sacre bleu, Eliza Bleu. Yeah, very offensive. The French kind of reminds me of that scene from Goldmember, Austin Powers, when Austin Powers' dad says, "There are two things that I can't tolerate. One, people who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and two, the Dutch." We'll talk about that at 8:23 and at 8:35. Some unsexy signs. Oh, wait! I forgot to mention dating red flags. Literally, evolutionary signs of dating red flags. I
Red flags
forget.
are so important.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that on the show. We've got that. Evolution shows the top 3 dating red flags. It's science. Don't argue with it. Okay, trust the experts. That's me. And then we'll finish with unsexy signs of impressively high mental strength. Maybe we'll get to all these topics. Maybe we won't, because you know how weird it is. All right, so let's hit the top of the show. The Eliza Bleu story sure is fascinating. Stephanie, we've been kind of reading this and talking about this the last few days. She's been asking for, apparently, and successfully getting people like The Quartering and Brittany Vonti.
Yeah.
And apparently now this another gentleman I see is being suspended from Twitter for allegedly showing photographs of her from publicly available music videos. But we're learning more about her background. She claims to have been trafficked,
Yes.
but the timeline of that is starting to unravel. Maybe more information will come out. We don't know for sure because there are no primary sources available on this one. It's not like CBS News is reporting on the story, but they will, because this woman's close to Elon Musk, isn't she?
She's trying to be.
Right.
If he's directly talked to her, but she has tweeted at him, and she's also done interviews with Tesla before. And I know after she was tweeting about trafficking on Twitter, then Elon came out saying that's our number one priority. And then he started cracking down on trafficking on the platform. So it's like, is it a coincidence, or is he really in cahoots with her?
CJ, we also learned that she was apparently dating the member of My Chemical Romance, the band. Yeah.
The front man for My Chemical Romance.
What else do we know about this lady?
I didn't even, there's a lot. I guess she was a hairdresser. She was kind of a groupie for the band, but I don't know what exactly happened there. But when you dig into some of that, I was doing this a little while back after somebody went after her. I can't remember who was going after her on Twitter. And several of the people kind of in our Liberty circles on there were coming to her defense and saying that she's been, fighting trafficking because of her inexperience, and she works a minimum wage job, and it's kind of like that she's this really good person. But then in the replies, people were posting some old interviews and some things about her time with MCR. And it just, when you start digging into that, it starts to look a little iffy. And apparently the band had a lot of problems with her and said a lot of negative things.
Yeah, didn't somebody from the band say something not so nice about her?
Well, Camellia heard that. I didn't hear that directly. I know she was engaged to Gerard, who's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. And yeah, it is very weird. She went by 3 different names that I know of: Eliza Knows, Eliza Cuts, and Eliza Seeps, and now Eliza Bleu. So she has different personas, it almost seems like.
Well, it's curious that there's so little information about someone who, I mean, at least, it's clear that Elon talks to her because, we see, I see he responds to her tweets, and she goes out there. She's mentioned in at least one sort of mainstreamish article. I would hesitate to call the Daily Beast mainstream, but I mean, they do original reporting. And they mention about how she has been active once Elon Musk took over Twitter, in helping to remove CP, is what we call it, child exploitation photographs that are not very nice. And so my belief is that this story, which is bubbling up right now on the internet, I'm just kind of surprised that it hasn't hit some of the mainstream
No, it
wires.
hasn't. It's
Right.
mostly just on Reddit that I've been finding my information,
Yeah.
and people tweeting things.
Yeah. And a lot of people, a lot of our friends in our friend group are starting to think, she's a charlatan, she's a huckster. I'm not saying that she is. I'm just saying that that's what's being accused. And somebody who I really trust in terms of the reporting their views, Robbie Suave from Reason Magazine, has called her out yesterday, saying that her story is, she's always been kind of shady. And the thing is that she's got this access to Elon Musk. She's going out there, she's reporting these people like the Quartering, Jeremy from the Quartering, and Brittany Vonti and others, for simply, asking questions about her story and saying, "Hey, she seems a little bit shady." I hate to take this out of the realm of gossip, which people love, and talk it in the realm of ideas, which I love, and I know most people hate. But this is kind of the consequence of elevating victimhood to a prize status. Is that if it's true that she's not been trafficked as it is being alleged, I'm just saying it's alleged, not saying that that's true, but if that is true, the accusations that are being made, it's all in part, it's all in due to the fact that we have created a culture of victimhood that seeks prize status that people want to have been, right? So much so that it's like, what do you think Jussie Smollett came from? Right?
Mhm.
All of these fake hate crimes that are rising, right?
Right. It
It's
gets you attention.
you remember that joke, Camellia, the demand for racism has outstripped the supply.
Yeah.
The demand for sex trafficking has outstripped the supply. Right, and not just from, activists, but from our Congress members, right? And think about all the legislation that's being pushed by, you know, much as I, like her personally, Ann Wagner, right? And we're
Mhm.
pushing sex trafficking legislation here, right? And then it's always some kind of backdoor screw job on, like, businesses that, might have somebody comment in their comment section for prostitution
Right,
or
and
whatever, right?
Holly brought something like there was something done in, Springfield, Missouri, some kind of operation there. They were calling it trafficking and all kinds of things, and it turns out it really wasn't. So they also play fast and loose with that term, and Reason
Mhm.
Magazine has done some reporting on that and really dug into those things, and, it's not that it's certainly not that it doesn't happen, but it's one of those things that kind of becomes urban legend where it gets blown way up more than it is. But what was interesting to me about Eliza is that this is like I don't know what her path there was, but she's been in libertarian circles for a little while now.
Yeah,
We've been
yeah.
mutuals on Twitter for, I don't like, probably 2, 3 years at least.
I think she follows me too, yeah.
And so I just, she's interacted with a lot of us in that way. And it's not like she just started addressing the trafficking issues, when Elon took over. So, in fairness, she's been tackling this for a while. But I didn't realize that she had the connection to Tesla and Elon before, he took over Twitter
Because
because
what did you read this morning about the whole Tesla connection
right,
there?
that she'd been a speaker at several Tesla events and has some kind of affiliation with Teslarati.
Mhm.
And so I had not realized that. I thought maybe he just became aware of her because of her activism on Twitter.
Here's what I'm reading from Robbie Suave, and that is how his name is pronounced, actually. Robbie Suave,
Really
Rico,
like that.
Robbie Suave, right, right. Here's what Robbie tweeted on January 25th, so a couple of days ago. He says, "Looks like people are waking up to the fact that this Eliza Blue individual is a fraud? Question mark. This was transparently obvious for a while, but better late than never." I mean, if Robbie Suave is calling her straight out as a fraud, um,
I just want people to give me some facts here. I mean, a lot of
yeah.
people are dissing her because they say she's not getting her ages correct. Like she's saying, "Oh, I was 17,
Mhm.
when I was sold in Hollywood for $500." But then other people are like, "Wait, she was like over 20." So her numbers aren't adding up.
Yeah, something is rotten in the state of Denmark. I'd like to know what's going on. And you know what? I'm just out of the spirit of openness. I'm going to reach out to her and send her a message and say, "Hey, listen, love to have you on the show. Come clear the air." I don't think she's going to come do it. But I mean,
Maybe you'll have better luck than I did.
what do you mean? What, you reached out to her?
I did. Like right after it first started blowing up with her getting Elon's attention at first, one of our state senators was filling in for a radio station and he was looking for a guest on that topic. And I was like, well, I mean, I'll reach out to her. So, I messaged. And like I said, she interacts with, some other people who live here in Missouri as well. And so, anyway, never heard back from her. And
I
Hmm.
see this as a case of, I don't want to say the word revenge P. Does everyone know what the P
Yeah,
word
yeah, yeah.
means? And you really can file lawsuits about that. And a lot of people are victims of revenge P.
Mm-hmm.
So if your images that were non consensual did get out, you can try to get them taken down by making them copyrighted for yourself.
One of the accusations that Jeremy from the Quartering made against her was that she had someone using her photos to catfish men. on sites. So like she was placed on sugar daddy websites and all these other websites, and she was claiming that that was a form of trafficking. This is according to Jeremy. But someone just using, unless you're actually being trafficked, to the person who reaches out to the ad, from what I understand, she was not, at least again, according to Jeremy, but she claims that that was a form of trafficking. But being, catfishing is not a form of trafficking.
Again, skewing the definition.
Yes. Well, because again, it's keep adding to the list of trophies for the victim, the victimhood Olympics, right?
Right, right. And, she has been an advocate. I mean, I'm sure you could go back and find dozens of tweets where she's talked about free speech and being a free speech absolutist and all of those kind of things. And it's just ironic that all of a sudden she's coming out and saying, you can't even say these kind of things about me or I'm going to sue you. And she noted that, she's not including Twitter in her legal action.
Right.
We're sounding a little low, though.
Here's the question, though. If it really is like revenge P, do you think people should have a right to get others to take down that material?
I don't know. What do you think, Camellia? You think that you ought to be able to have a takedown? As like, so, you say you send a sexy selfie to an ex-boyfriend at some point, and then he posts it online to get revenge. Should you be able to legally take that down? You're nodding your head.
You would be
great questions. These are great questions.
Defamation and slander and libel. You can see people that for those things.
So this is the same thing in her eyes, it appears.
What about your eyes?
In my eyes?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's okay to try to get people to take down your revenge P material.
You think so?
I think
using the government?
Using the court, which is run by the government. We're anarchists, right? Yeah.
Oh, you are? Because I know you were watching my anarcho-capitalist video last night saying, I agree with all of that.
Well, I said I also agree with a lot of different philosophies.
Oh, okay. So what?
I mean, first probably reach out to the person individually and try to make it a private matter and say, hey, this is what happened.
I'm
Can
pretty
you please take my stuff
sure,
down?
if somebody's doing something like that, it's like,
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys ever heard, am I going to get demonetized for this? Who cares? My comment that got me in trouble when I ran for office, pyramid piles of, you know what? So that all stemmed from a whole revenge porn, revenge P thing. Yeah. I said it. Dang it. God dang it. I know.
How dare you?
So, because somebody had Christopher, I can't even remember his last name at this point. He went all super Nazi Charlottesville guy. He had posted Revenge P online, and so I called him out and was talking to him about like, you do stuff like this, and you're never gonna have a woman, ever be interested in you again, stuff like that. He's like, I do just fine, and I'm like,
that's a red flag right there. If you post revenge P,
there you go, red flag, yeah.
something like that.
Yes, don't date somebody who does something like that. That's a big one. It can
Emotional damage.
Question is, did you actually see the screenshots of that hip hop video that she's trying to get taken down everywhere? What was in it? What was it
She's
showing?
just dancing real sexy.
Okay, because I did see another hip hop video of her. I don't know if it's the same one, but it just showed her butt and she's like climbing up a mountain or something.
Yeah.
So sure, I mean,
essentially, like
provocative.
The insinuation is that she is, not only exaggerating any form of trafficking which may have occurred, but the insinuation is that by acting in such a manner, putting herself out there, being on music videos, and what was she was on? Did you watch The Blind Date?
I didn't actually watch the episode. She was also on American Idol.
She was on American Idol?
Yes.
I know.
Talent.
I just wonder if she wasn't really prepared for
fame,
everything that was going to come out about her after she kind of got elevated by Elon Musk, and all of a sudden people are like, this, and they're digging.
Yeah, no, see, you're absolutely right. See, that's why I have been like as transparent as possible in my rise to stardom, because shut up, Camellia. Because you can't hide anything anymore. You just can't, right? You can sit on a throne of bayonets, but not for long. You go out there and you misrepresent yourself. That was a wrong metaphor. If you if you misrepresent yourself, you're going to get found out.
But to her credit, I mean, being in the Hollywood scene, being in the music scene, a lot of people are taken advantage of and manipulated. So it would not surprise me if that has happened to her, but I don't know to which degree it has happened to her. I've been to Warped Tour. It's some dirty stuff.
Right, but didn't you say, Camellia? Was it you that said that like the My Chemical Romance tour said, My Chemical Romance people said something not nice about her? What was that?
Yeah, apparently the band said she's crazy.
Said she's nuts.
Yeah. They
She
didn't like
cut
her.
her hair, so hopefully she didn't do a botched job.
Boy, I don't know what to say about this one. I wonder what
Their
you
emo
think.
haircuts.
Yeah, I wonder what you think about this story. Send us a test. Friday, I'm exhausted. 573-319-1586 is the text line. You can send us one of them texts. We'd love to hear from you. Also, send us super chats today. We'd love to make a little record today. Doesn't have to be the most amount of money, but it would be nice to get like the most amount of super chats. So if everybody sent like, $2.99, the more like people who do it stacks up. We get more people involved, help support the show, because starting on Monday, Nathan starts working for us. It's going to be exciting. You might even get to see him on the live stream every once in a while.
Shop. I'm actually wearing our smoking George Washington coin necklace.
Show that off.
Get that at the apforlibertyshop.com.
Yeah.
So if you don't just want to donate and you want to get something in return, go on over to the shop.
But even if you do donate, if you become a monthly sponsor, then you do get entered into free monthly prize giveaways and all kinds of other goodies. So
absolutely.
So do that. We appreciate you support the show so we can give you more great content on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP4Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Petersen stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. Happy Family Friday. I'm Austin Petersen, and I'm joined in the studio by my family, Stephanie Petersen, my lovely wife. Good to see you. And of course, my probably distant cousin, perhaps, Camellia PetersOn.
Scandinavian, right?
I mean, is it, right? Are we?
No, if you're, what are you? Ian is what, Danish?
Ian is Danish. And
okay.
Then
Owen is like Swedish.
Right, but Swedish is not Scandinavian.
Like, aren't Swedish and Norwegian and Danish, isn't it like all in the same, like, I don't know.
No, and burn in hell.
Sorry.
Up the Alec Baldwin and Adam Baldwin relation the other day.
Yes.
And I was like, actually,
Yes.
they're related back to the 1600s.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't realize they weren't related. I've been thinking they were.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's funny because I thought he was one of the Baldwin brothers, which is what I said, which I was wrong about. But if I had said they were related, then I would have been okay. Because somebody corrected me viciously on the live stream, viciously. Hey, Michael Nip, thank you. We appreciate you very much. Michael Nip sent us a super chat. Yes, ladies, we are grateful for that. Helps us support the show. We're all excited about the fact that the show continues to grow. I'm looking at my YouTube analytics. I think we've had 700,000 views in the last 30 days. And large part of that, of course, is the FDR video, which is like 538,000 views.
Watch that video over and over again. Will it count? Or is it per person?
I don't think so.
Especially by your IP.
Yeah, probably by your account.
The president.
Oh, yeah? You like the dogs of the presidents?
Or that, yeah. Follow. That's what, yeah.
Follow.
Great.
Yes, so the Dogs of the Presidents is my new series. And Stephanie was already like, you should do Pets of the Presidents.
Because Calvin Coolidge had a raccoon.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Now the question is, have there been more dogs or more cats in the White House?
We don't really hear much about, didn't
Clintons or who had cats?
I think didn't Obama have socks or something like that?
Just the cat.
Was it socks?
A cat would get lost in the White House.
Well, we'll find out. Our friend Anna Maxa sent us a super chat. Thank you. Appreciate that. You rock. And then see, they get rewarded with that little super chat Bitcoin button down there on the screen. They didn't have actual gold coins. They only had Bitcoins. So I appreciate that. We're trying to get as many people to become super chatters today. Any amount is great. $1, $2, $3 doesn't matter. $50, $1,000, of course. $1,000 will pay for one employee for an entire month. You can too. We need to do like a fundraising drive day or something like that.
Send them a photo of you, adopt
Yeah.
a child.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Adopt a Wake Up America show core podcast host.
Bowl of cereal for Austin.
Exactly. You know what my daily meal is because you make it for me every day.
Meal.
Oatmeal. Oatmeal with fruit. I have a little bowl of oatmeal with fruit every day, and that is how it keeps me strong. All right, let's talk about the news. I guess I'm going to be a millennial boss starting on Monday. Yeah. I wonder. Do you think I'll be a good boss, Stephanie?
I think you will be.
Yeah.
Laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire, right? But you can't be when your boss, right? You got to crack down. You got to really make him suffer. You got to watch him for every second.
Be an authoritarian.
Authoritarian, right?
Quiet exists.
Quiet quitting does exist. Yeah, it's a big deal. But we're talking about whether or not a millennial boss is better than a boomer boss or a Gen X boss. And the reason why this is a story is because this woman went viral online for talking about how she's worked for boomer bosses, Gen X bosses, and she said she can't believe how different her millennial superior is compared to the older bosses. She says, I've worked for a narcissistic psychotic boomer and I've worked for a narcissistic psychotic Gen X. Then she started working for a millennial like me. She says, we're both still millennials, but they're still my senior. I wrote her an email very courteously stating, hey, while I do appreciate you commenting these things to the client, I feel you are undermining me and it could damage my relationship with these clients. I CC'd you as a courtesy, but I didn't have to. And, like if you have things to say, I prefer that you say them to me rather than to the client. And then the email in her response was, because she was afraid of what her boss was going to say to that. She says, even though I stand by everything that I said and stood up for myself, my relationship with my bosses have been with other generations. This was her response. Okay, I see your point and I apologize. I apologize for the way I approached that. I did not mean to undermine you in any way. For future emails that I'm CC'd in, I won't reply unless I'm addressed to or asked a direct question. I apologize for the way I approached that. I will have 100% of trust in you in the way you're handling this file. Clients have been great clients for me. I may be a little too attached because of it. I need to learn to let go and trust. I also appreciate your email and appreciate you writing to address the way you felt right away instead of keeping it inside. Your thoughts on that response?
I mean, that's an awesome response.
Yeah.
Way to communicate.
Yeah, for sure.
That person must be in therapy.
Speaking of communication, Quest Fanning sent us $5 to communicate. And we appreciate you, Quest Fanning.
Buy partner strawberries.
Quest is gonna get like his name on a plaque when we have like a studio one day and we've got like 12 shows running for the 24-hour news network. Quest is going to have his own little plaque outside of the
report live from New York.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Quest reporting live from Brooklyn. He can give us reports where to get the best Brooklyn pizza for sure. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Quest. We appreciate it. We are on a quest today to get as many people to become super chatters today as possible.
Double entendre.
Imagine if I had been able to get a triple. My dreams are always to get a triple entendre.
Ooh.
Right? That's like, for me, that's like orgasmic.
It's best in lots of things.
I request you send a super chat.
Yes, and then you can make it to third base. Welcome to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen. I'm here hanging out with my lovely wife, Stephanie Petersen and Camellia PetersOn. We're asking the question of whether or not boomer bosses, Gen X bosses, or millennial bosses are the best. You've got a millennial boss, don't you, CJ?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Whether Jeremy is technically a millennial.
I think he's my age, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
so I think that
we're
both of you
geriatric
just kind of
millennials.
barely squeak in there.
Yeah.
No, and I think that there's an individual factor to it, but I do think that people of that generation have grown up with more maybe emotional awareness, and so have gotten more exposure to communicating emotions and doing so in a healthy way, just because we talk about it culturally more than we used to.
Here's my take. I've never had a millennial boss before. I've had probably boomer and Gen X bosses mostly, and they were some more neurotic, and they would pester me, and they loved ceasing on emails. Now, the thing about millennial bosses that I would be concerned about, which I have seen this behavior, is posting on social media about their coworkers and the people under them. They do that a lot. I worry about gossip with the millennials.
Millennial bosses?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're very catty, especially the women bosses. Now, the men bosses, I like men bosses in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think men are just more low key, no drama.
Mm-hmm. The thing is that with like being a boss, and now that I'm like stepping into that role here, starting soon, is that I, I'm totally open to remote work, right? I want to see him like a couple of days a week. A couple of days a week. We'll be at the 3D printer shop, and then a couple of days a week, I'll work from home. You know what I mean? But the thing is that you just have to ask yourself, are you going to be able to track their productivity? And
Yes.
when you're talking about an online shop, it's easy, right? I don't know what kind of metrics, you have, Camellia, for, success, but for
My
you,
metrics
your
would be
metric for
progress
success,
since I
yeah.
got written up one time
Hmm.
because I like didn't do them in a timely manner or
Hmm.
something, and I got a warning, and I was really upset.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, metrics. I used to work in a hospital, so
Hey, our buddy Michael Nip, who's been super chatting this morning like crazy, he just bought a George Washington Freedom of Speech tee from the AP for Liberty shop. Oh, Michael. Oh, you trying to put us in a good mood today, baby girl? I'll be your huckleberry. Now, keep your mind out of the gutter when later we talk about the 3 evolutionary signs of red flags in dating for men. So we're going to give some advice to the ladies today about what
Time.
yeah, we're going to talk about exactly.
these
Yeah.
red flags go for men and women. You
Uh,
can just switch the gender.
yeah. Okay. Well,
Yes.
it was specific. The article was dating red flags in men, and I hope that John Rail is here today because I know that he's really been like on the warpath or the hunt, if you will, and he's hungry like the wolf, trying to get out there and meet himself a nice lady. Which Camellia, you're single, aren't you?
I am.
Ooh, she hesitated.
She hesitated. Yeah, there might be something going on. Exactly. Maybe later we'll learn a little bit something more about that, but you're going to have to wait until 8 a.m. for that story. But in terms of having a millennial boss versus a boomer boss, I had a boss who was 1 year older than me, which makes him like the youngest of Gen X technically. But I mean, it's close enough. I didn't even really know that he was my age and stuff like that. Because like to me, you know what it is? This is probably some mental thing. Whenever I have a boss, they always just seem older. Is that there's some mental deal there?
Well,
I
because
think.
they try to be more powerful,
Hmm.
and a lot of times they like talk over you, like they know more.
Hmm.
So that wisdom
Hmm.
makes them seem older.
Yeah, I guess that might be
I
part
was
of it.
just trying to think of the last boss I had before I started with AFP,
Hmm.
and I worked for some orgs out of Minnesota, and I will say, and I don't know if this was a libertarian thing, but um, that boss was a little neurotic
Hmm.
and was a millennial. Do you think that was more related to probably being more libertarian though? But it is incredibly frustrating though, which is something I really appreciate about where I am now. It's incredibly frustrating to be able to see what you need to do to be productive and to move the company, the organization you're working for forward,
Hmm.
and have your hands tied and not being able to do anything of that work because it's so controlled.
Can you imagine being Elon Musk and not only do you have to like, manage people in one company, but you own multiple
Oh
massive
my gosh.
companies with like major moving parts in different cities and you're shipping cars all over the world. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many moving parts there to that. I have
Well,
no
you've
idea
heard
how
the
he does it.
stories about how he would make people come in and he puts their feet to the fire
I
when it
think
comes to
he looks
work.
at Elon as like the boss. Sure, he's the CEO, but there's a lot of bosses underneath him. So I'm curious to know what their personalities are like.
See, like that would be a really interesting challenge is like to manage the managers, you know what I mean, as the
Right.
boss. But the CEO, and one of the things that's kind of shrouded in mystery, when you talk about what people's roles are in a company. Most people who work for a company don't have any clue what like the CEO does.
Right.
Right now, it's a little bit easier to know what the chief technical officer does because they run the computers or something, or like the chief financial officer, right? They run the books and the finances, and everybody gets paid or whatever. But then, with the CEO's job is, if you look it up in any business dictionary, the CEO's job is to increase profits quarterly. So their job is simply to ensure that the corporation or whatever it is increasing its profits by every quarter. And if the CEO is not doing that job, if the profits don't increase, it's the CEO's fault, and they usually get canned or kicked out. Disney, for example, in the last couple years has been fluctuating between CEOs because they haven't been making the same quarterly profits. And the funny thing is about that is because we talk about going woke, going broke. The CEO who stepped in was the old CEO, and he was very much pro woke policies, but not as much as the CEO that's outgoing, who was the one who waded into the battle with Ron DeSantis over the not so aptly named "Don't Say Gay" bill, but which was successfully titled that. And so I guess they still want to be woke, but not as woke as they were. And getting into battles, high profile battles with the governor of your state who has the power that he has is a bad idea.
It's okay. They don't want to be as woke. We like that.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, here's the thing. Disney has always been gay. Disney has always been the gayest.
In a happy way.
Well, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? But I mean, when has Disney ever not been gay? Let's be honest, right? From Snow White and the Seven Gay Dwarfs to modern day.
Thought about the dwarves that way. Did you?
Well, let me tell you something. Snow White didn't come around until later on. You know what I mean? She was not there the whole time. How do you think Hi Ho got Hi Ho?
Lord, stop that. Ruining childhood things.
No, I mean, but it's true.
For me, I just go back to the anti-Semitism. I'm just not okay with that.
Wait a minute. What was the whole thing? Do you know the story about Walt Disney and anti-Semitism before you fling that accusation?
No, but I know that there is an anti-Semitic accusation that can be made.
Quiet, Jew. Put pins in the oven. Welcome to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen. You're listening to me, AP, my lovely wife, Stephanie Petersen, who's joining us this morning, as well as our friend Camellia PetersOn, who's not related to us, but might be related to us in a long way back. Aaron says Snow White and the Seven Simps. Okay.
Good.
That's a good one, Aaron. We appreciate that very much. We appreciate you very much. We'd love it if you would help support the show today by donating through the super chat function. Any amount would be great. $1, $5, $10, like Michael Nip. That was great. Our friend Quest Fanning, as well as Anna Maxis. Anna Maxa. Yeah, I got that name right.
Name.
Yeah, that's a cool name. And they're new. We love to see it here, Anna Maxa. New faces, new friends watching us over the live stream. We're trying to set a new record today with the number of people who make super chats, not necessarily, the amount, it could be 99 cents or what have you. Yeah. Exactly. There's that simp word again, says Amanda. She wants to talk about simps, doesn't she? Hi, Amanda. Good morning. Nice to see you today. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. It's been exciting. We've made a lot of new friends lately, haven't we, CJ? Yeah, it's good. So what I noticed today was that all the moderators with the wrenches are in this room here today.
All the bosses.
Yes. We're your millennial bosses. Actually, you're what? Camellia Gen X. Oh no, she's got emotional damage. Emotional damage.
Don't tell anyone.
How dare you? How dare you? Hey, John, good morning. Happy Family Friday. Just because, brother. Keep up the great work. Love you, man. John Rail donated $5. We love you, John. Yeah.
Actually, Amanda was the one who told me the other day, what was it in the chat about, you were talking about something, and she said something about, somebody said something about middle-aged. And it was like,
oh no.
She was like, well, 30s can be middle-aged. I was like, I love you.
Yes, right. Isn't that fun? Isn't it fun how many friends we're making on this program? Help to build that community. Make sure that you send us a super chat today. Again, even if it's just $1, just trying to hit that goal today. We always want to be continuing to grow and build, and we know that if we don't ask, we don't get. And Michael Nip, he bought a shirt today over at the AP for Liberty shop. We appreciate that, Michael. It's going to help us to grow. Starting Monday, we've got another new exciting announcement to make, and that is that the new employee starts on Monday. That means, we've got become a boss, millennial boss. What are we talking about when we get back, Stephanie? What's the next topic? Do we know?
Well, we can talk about music and how it helps with stress. We can talk about the red flags. We can talk about how to debate, how to argue, to learn, how not to procrastination and mental health.
We'll solve all your problems.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
George. Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1. You can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2. Most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3. You're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell! This commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
hilarious. Oh my God, Chris Morrill, you're cracking us up here during the commercial break. Good morning, Rising Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Remember last night, Stephanie, when you said the mayor of Jefferson City is a little bit of a...
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of bathing suit photos in Hawaii right now.
There's a lot of...
Oh, is she in Hawaii right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
Maui. Not stalking.
Yeah, we're not stalking.
It's
No.
just appearing on my feed.
Well, apparently Chris is stalking because he's the one who brought it up.
Yeah, well, he likes it. You know, I mean...
She's got a nice body. I'll give it to her.
Yeah, well, Austin.
Yeah. My body is pretty close to hers.
Yeah.
She's probably even more ripped than I am.
So, Ron Fitzwater is going to be the next mayor, I guess.
God.
I told him, though, you have to get Instagram ready, get your Speedo out because this is like part of the job, right? You got to post the Insta bikini photos.
I applaud that she loves herself. So many people hate themselves, so it's nice to see someone who thinks they're attractive.
Why are you gay?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Camellia?
I did.
Maybe.
You did?
Or I don't know.
Okay.
Talking about why Stephanie's gay. Welcome to the Wake Up America.
Fight the mayor in next time, and she can sit next to
Oh,
me.
Lord.
She can bring her bathing suit collection.
I like where this show's going. How about you?
Yes.
How about you? The Wake Up America show is brought to you by viewers and listeners like you. But one of the sponsors of this program is our friend over at Lear Capital at learcapital.com. We want to talk really briefly about our sponsor over at Lear Capital. That's right, ladies. Give yourself a little disco dance. I'm putting you up on screen. Yes. Do you like gold? How about silver? Yeah, our friends over at Lear Capital have got a great little package for you put together. Totally free. No obligation to buy. All you got to do is head over to learaustin.com, get your groove on, and get their free gold package. They'll tell you what you can do if you're interested in investing in gold and silver. You don't have to have tens of thousands or millions of dollars to buy some gold. You can buy a little bit at a time, like my lovely Jewish bride who came with her own little bag.
A lot cheaper. It used to be $20-something an ounce back when I was buying it. It went down to the teens. So
Yeah.
It's not that expensive.
Right. So silver is a great way to get into the precious metals market. But if you're like me and you're looking at these job cuts that are going on and the economy struggling, I mean, if you're not paying attention to what's happening on the stock market, looking at it right now, hashtag stock market crash happening right now. Trending on
Hashtag I
Twitter.
lost thousands of dollars.
Hashtag call Lear Capital today at 1-800-885-2175. Gold and silver are a great way to hedge your retirement portfolio. Put a portion of your retirement into gold or silver. It's physical metals that you will own and can take ownership of. It's not some paper gold statements or what have you. It is real gold and silver. Visit learaustin.com. That's learaustin.com. You're saying to yourself, hey, Austin, I wish I could give you a super chat today, but money's a little bit tight. I want to support the show. Well, if you visit learaustin.com, they'll send you a free gold packet. Costs you nothing, and that does help to support the show. We appreciate it very much, and we are grateful to have your support. All right, let's head back to our normal scenes as we talk to our friends Stephanie Petersen and Camellia PetersOn, who are joining us now. Glad to have you here. And let's see, we are talking about what?
Procrastination.
Yeah.
Procrastinating. Getting to the topic.
Procrastination, signs of a serious health problems, this study finds, right? So they conducted this longitudinal study to talk about how procrastination relates to later health outcomes. And students with a greater tendency to procrastinate at the start of the study were compared with students with a lower tendency. They found that the higher levels of procrastination were associated with somewhat higher symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stress 9 months later. It's kind of like, for me, though, a question of like a chicken or egg theory. Is it the procrastination that causes the illness, right? Or is it the illness that makes you procrastinate? Because when I'm sick, I'm putting shit off. But I mean,
Right.
Ever since taking a statistical psychology, statistics and psychology class and having to do all of the experiments and things like that, I question every single study I see. I'm like,
Looking at mental health, this actually really makes sense to me. So There is anxiety-related procrastination. That is a thing. A lot of people are just so anxious they can't get started on something because they just keep anticipating it and it's freaking them out. And so anxiety causes the procrastination in that case. Depression also causes procrastination because depression, in terms of the symptoms, causes lack of motivation. It makes you really tired, not want to do anything. There you go. You procrastinate. Procrastination then makes you more stressed, hence more anxiety. So sometimes anxiety causes procrastination and procrastination causes anxiety.
What are your biggest challenges in terms of procrastination? What are the things that you like, would you say you put off? I'll go ahead and start first. So mine is sticking to my New Year's resolution of reading. Although I've been picking it back up for a little while, like maybe a few days, I started to drop it, but now I'm picking it back up. Exercise. But now you know that one thing that I've been procrastinating, Stephanie. You know what it is, and that's eating more healthy. Oh, I'm scared. I miss my crab wontons. Oh God. What about you, Camellia? What's your procrastination bug?
Oh, my biggest procrastination issues are with like record keeping things, expense reports, documentation. It just is, I can't explain why I get a mental block about it and avoid it. And I do, and I feel so much better when I get it done. Like, hi, my bosses, my expense reports are caught up as of last night. It's so much better now.
What about you, Stephanie?
Think about this. So I really don't procrastinate on my responsibilities, like my progress notes for work. I get those done real fast. That's number one priority. I procrastinate more on self-care. So I procrastinate more on organizing our closets, for example. I've been wanting to do that for a really long time. I procrastinated on saving my photos to my hard drive for months and months and months. I finally just did that. So it's more things for myself.
Yes.
That I procrastinate on.
I've been procrastinating on giving Corey Kleiber a congratulations and thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, we appreciate that very much, as well as Joni Rankin. Joni Rankin just gave us, Joni,
Nice.
awesome. Joni's been another new friend that we've made. I guess she's from Missouri. That's what I've been reading.
Yes. Okay. So I didn't realize until I was looking the other day, because a lot of times you're friends with people on Facebook and you don't realize it. So Jackie and I are friends on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And is she from Southwest Missouri too? Because
I don't remember now.
Yeah.
Jackie, tell us where you're
yeah,
from.
Joni. Well, yeah. Where do you
If
live,
you want to.
Joni? Yes.
Maybe not too much.
Don't procrastinate giving us your information.
Oh, God!
We don't want to dox her.
God,
Yes.
please, no!
We don't want to dox her if you
No!
don't want to know, want people to
No!
know, Joni. But she's really cool. I think she's kind of like, from what I see and what she posts and stuff, she's kind of like more like one of us than like one of them, if you would. One of us. One of us. Okay, because she's got some pretty liberty views on certain things. So, anyways, procrastination.
The thing about health problems,
Let's hear it.
procrastination causes health problems, but also if you're feeling sick, then you procrastinate. So again, so basically, if you're feeling sick, then you procrastinate. And if you procrastinate, then you feel more sick. If you procrastinate going to the doctor, let's say. So people who avoid going to doctors, which a lot of people do, medical problems add up and then they get worse.
Can I procrastinate on this topic for just a second and bring up the whole did you see that picture I posted yesterday of the fake books on Amazon?
No.
Okay.
I just saw that.
Okay, so I posted this yesterday, and I don't know why it offends me so much, but it does. Because everybody was trying to correct me and be like, oh, well, this is how you can hide your AR-15. Well, no, you can't hide an AR-15 behind it because it's too small, because the AR-15s that you're allowed to have now, thanks to Joe Biden, are only the long gun rifles.
They got really nice pictures that you can hide your guns in. They got some nice art stuff.
Stephanie, don't give away our secrets for the love of God. The fake books that people put on their bookshelves and stuff like that. I know that there's going to be some hole who is going to say, well, actually, Austin, you can use them for this and this and this and this. But it's like, get real books, okay, is what I want to say. Well, you can't even like pretend. It's just so Amazon is selling these fake books.
Okay.
So you like put them up on your bookshelf and it looks like real books. And I know people have these and they do it to kind of like complete the study. And a lot of them do it because, of course, they want to try and maintain a certain style or an aesthetic, right? You're a lawyer's office.
Bookends?
No.
Keep your books in?
No, it's a wooden thing with like fake books on the outside of
Staging.
it. Right, staging,
Yeah.
right? So I understand it. People want to have an aesthetic in their offices. They're a lawyer and they want to have a professional look, and it's not good to have all your like children's nursery rhymes or like Dr. Seuss books and all that kind of stuff on there. but you just know some people are buying them because they want to look like they're intelligent or something.
The
like
only
that.
fake book that I want on my bookshelf is the one you pull out that opens the secret door to the damn behind.
Yeah. People were saying they were because the people were like, well, actually, Austin, you can use it to hide your chocolate. Okay, yeah, but it's not that
Can you
secure.
actually open these?
Well, you have to pull the whole thing out, right?
Wait,
It's just a
using books to
solid
hide
unit.
chocolate?
That's what they said, right? They're using that you would pull it out and there would be your chocolate
That
stash.
sounds like a problem.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing.
Chocolate stashes. My grandmother used to hide all of her treats in her trunk of her car.
You need a safe. You need to be able to lock it, right? Or maybe you can put a little safe in there behind it and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, once somebody, sees it and stuff like that. But I mean, it doesn't even look like actual real books. Anyway, all right. So I'm procrastinating. We got to go to a commercial break. However, we've got 40 people watching. I want to say, first of all, thank you. Awesome to see all the new people who are watching. Second of all, today we're trying to break a record with the show on Friday. I brought 2 beautiful females into the studio for you. So I would like you to give me some money, all right? I would like you to pay me.
Dance.
All right, don't make these ladies get up into a dance. Yeah, I'm pulling an Andrew Tate here that you admire so much. Yes. Well, it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter because it's still like prostitution. What we're trying to do, we're trying to break a record is get the most amount of people giving super chats. It doesn't matter how much you give, $1, $5, $10. We're just trying to break a record today with the number of people who donate, and we've already had some awesome people stepping in and doing that as well. So if you wouldn't mind, just $1, $2, $5. If you haven't done it yet, we would love to have you become a super chatter today. We'd be super grateful. All right, when we come back, finally the main topic, which I'm super excited for. You are going to love it. You're going to be throwing cash at us, and these ladies are going to be dancing and sticking it in their thongs. 3 signs, evolutionary signs of red flags in dating. Camellia has hit all 3. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Donald Trump and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Petersen is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake, yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes, you like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bullshit. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bullshit blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every $1 we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Any real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good morning, Rise in Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Has it been a good show so far? What do you think?
Yeah.
The nice thing about having this button is I can make you say whatever I want you to say. You are my little puppets.
Closet.
Exactly, yes. Exactly. Joining us now in studio, my lovely wife for Family Friday, Stephanie Petersen. Nice to see you. Look at them giving you an applause. And joining us also as well is Camellia PetersOn. How do you feel about her?
Good morning.
Boo. Why are they booing her? That's terrible. Yeah, exactly. Now, Jerry. We probably put that, I should probably put that on the soundboard, actually. All right, so John Rail's going to appreciate this morning. He's talking about how terrible dating has been. You know, I know that he's out there. He's putting himself in the meat market. I'm like, thank God I got married. Like, it's when I did, because it's only getting worse out there from everything that I've heard. And I saw this story about dating red flag. Stephanie, what you want to say something?
Just wanted to give him some suggestions. Try meetup.com.
Mm-hmm.
And also try Clubhouse, because one of our friends, Jess Mears, found her husband on Clubhouse.
What the hell is Clubhouse?
Clubhouse, it's a social media platform basically where there's different interest groups and you talk through audio chat about these interests. So you get to know people through audio chat.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It made a big splash when it first came out and everybody was on it, but it's kind of like trickled off a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like with
now
Twitter.
Everybody does Twitter Spaces.
Twitter Spaces, yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that. What is that?
It's just those, you never see like those little audio things that are set up on Twitter where you'll see like 20, 30 people and stuff like that, and they're all in like an audio chat room.
Oh, it's really just the same as Clubhouse, except for on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why like people like, or apps like Instagram, they like copy TikTok, you know what I mean? Because they want to be like that. But I wouldn't want to be out in the dating market, that's for sure. Let's talk about some dating signs that are red flags, though, in men.
Right. So if you do find a mate,
yes,
then look for this.
Yeah, this is from the New York Post when I was reading this story. I'm a scientist of human evolution, he says. Men have 3 top dating red flags. And he says, kind of a sad one, but male-to-male friendships are much easier to maintain than male-to-female romantic relationships. I mean, duh, I guess that seems...
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that have female friends. I mean, as a man, you've had female friends and male friends.
And if they are...
Why are you gay?
What do you
Are you
think?
gay?
What do you think is easier, male friends or female friends?
Oh, male friends, much easier. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got to a point in my life where, and maybe this is the sign of maturity in a man, where I could have good, fulfilling, like healthy relationships with females.
Mhm.
But there was a time in my life when that was exceedingly difficult. It was just nearly impossible to not try to love them
Yeah.
and be kind to them in a very romantic way.
Someone ends up liking someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, something happens usually.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it happens, right? It's very hard to have, just male to female friendships,
Right.
but it's harder to keep male to female romantic relationships than it is for a man to have a guy who's a
Sure.
guy friend. So he says that this is partly genetic, this gentleman. He says some research indicates that genes that influence infidelity differ between the sexes. He says, so that's just to say that all else being equal, a guy with an unfaithful father is more likely to cheat on you. A 2017 study reported by Psychology Today found that to be true. Among those taking part in the survey who admitted to being unfaithful in their marriage, 35% of them also reported infidelity in their own parents' relationship. The third red flag, he says, I learned from Dr. David Buss, a man with a low mate value will often put down a woman.
Yeah, so I guess low mate means low self-esteem.
Yes. So, well, he wants to reduce her perceived mate value, her self-esteem, in order to get her to lower her standards and accept him as a mate. This makes sense because if a man feels insecure,
Yeah.
then he will think to himself, well, if I have a woman who is of a lower social status than me, because women prefer to be with a man who is a higher social status than them,
Mhm.
that's called hypergamy. Then a man will nag his woman if he's, doesn't have good self-esteem in order to try and at least it's essentially it's a form of gaslighting.
This is what narcissists do.
Right.
Is they belittle their partner because inside they really feel self-conscious, but they're not showing it.
Narcissists do this, but
Yeah.
probably not everybody who does this is necessarily a narcissist.
Right.
Not everybody who
It's
has
a quality.
not everybody who has low self-esteem is a narcissist,
Right.
and not all narcissists have low self-esteem. Right. I would probably say that might not necessarily be the majority of narcissists if I were to guess. But you would know more about that than I do, Stephanie. So I guess the question is, in terms of nagging your partner, the problem with it is, Camellia, that it works.
It works on women?
Yeah.
It does.
It works like a charm. It is, like Pokemon. It's super effective.
Women typically don't have very good self-esteem.
Really?
Either. Yes. And so when their partners belittle them, then it really wears on them.
So if I were going to be like Andrew Tate, I would say, gentlemen, if you're having a problem with a woman that, if sometimes women are up on their high horses, though, you know what I mean? Sometimes they do need to be brought low.
They pretend to be.
Sometimes you got to grab them by the hair and bonk them on the head and drag them back to the cave.
It can be masking self-esteem issues. It's
Yeah.
a facade. That's what it is.
For part of it.
Yeah.
Part of it. Yeah. What do you think? Send us a text, 573-319-1586. Go ahead.
I do want to speak on the cheating thing. So children who have parents who have cheated are twice as likely to cheat on their partners.
So that's one of the red flags here, right?
Yes.
Right.
And talking about somebody's past, so when somebody had a parent who cheated, it tends to create trust issues between that child and their parent. And so when you have trust issues, you tend to think that your partner may cheat on you in the future. You carry it over into your romantic relationships. And when you have trust issues, you tend to cheat because you don't want your partner to leave you. So you're like, oh, let me get some attention from some other people so I can lift myself up. So it's like this trickle down effect.
And what you were talking about last night when we were, reading the story was about how women, when they're older, tend to cheat more.
Yeah, 60 years old, apparently.
That's when women really start to cheat. What the hell is that?
For me to believe.
Isn't that weird?
Right? That is odd.
Yeah. Well, they, what is it? Post-menopause? There's some kind of some kind of inflamed, I don't know, crotch heat.
What? Dry down there post-menopause. I don't know. Are you sure about that? I don't know. But I mean, during midlife crisis time, that's usually when
I don't want to be 60 is not midlife. Okay, ladies, we keep stretching this definition here. All right. No. Okay, that's enough.
So I don't know, probably 16 or whatever, I volunteered at a hospital, and there was an older couple that I worked with a lot. And I remember one time the old guy, I don't remember what we were talking about. He was like, well, when there's snow on the roof, there's fire in the furnace.
Oh, God.
Okay, didn't know that. But I'm not sure that applies to women too. I have no idea.
Too, it
Not
has
there
to do
yet.
with empty nest syndrome because that's the time when your kids are usually away at
Mhm.
school. They're all grown out of the house. And so you get lonely
Yeah.
and you have to get to know your spouse and you might not like them as much anymore.
We need to celebrate. Joe Biden Force One just sent us a super chat. Hey, Joe Biden Force One. He's
Hey.
new. First time he's joined us. Yeah, glad to have you here, buddy. We appreciate you very much. Thank you to all of our super chatters today. We are going for a record to try and see the most amount of people who can do super chats. Not necessarily the most amount of money, but the most amount of people. And we're grateful to Joe Biden Air Force One. We kind of skimmed over the number one red flag in dating, which is that a man doesn't have man friends. If a male doesn't have male friends, so if he's only got all female friends, it could be a little bit shady. But I mean, male to male relationships might be easier to maintain than male to female relationships, but it is more difficult, I think, than ever to have male relationships. When we're kids, you've got your guy best friend and you've got and it's really easy. When you're in college, it's much easier. Like, proximity is really, I think, the challenge. And then once you become an adult, you've got kids and all kinds of things step in the way, like responsibilities. And it's just more difficult. We're kind of lucky here, Stephanie, that we have a little bit of a friend group here in Jefferson City, of which, 2 or 3 of these are, male friends that we can have.
We have a lot of couples friends, which makes it so easy so that when we want to hang out with people, we hang out together with those people.
Right. But the issue with like a guy having a guy friend is that there's always kind of like a wall. When you're younger, it's easier, but there's always kind of like a masculine wall that prevents you from just like being friends with another man. Like, what are you getting? Like, when you're an adult male, let's say if you're a guy, and they say it's a red flag. Let's say you realize it's a red flag and you want to have more guy friends. What do? We go to Tinder.com and match with guys and be like, hey, actually just looking for platonics. You want to be friends? You know what I mean?
That
Like,
would be weird.
like, what do you do? Like, find the local Xbox chat meetup and Facebook and have like a get together.
Just gaming, right?
Go play
you
Magic
can find
the
friends
Gathering.
while you're gaming.
Yeah, you're gonna find front nerds when you're gaming. You know what I mean? But it's like if you're gonna if you're gonna try and like make male friends as an adult, right, to solve this issue of like having this red flag, because women would see it as a red flag, is that I don't know how you do it. You know what? It's probably easier to find somebody to date than it is to find another male guy friend.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because how do you do it? What do
Well,
you?
probably so, especially when you're an adult and everybody has jobs now. I mean, it's not like it's when you're in school and you get to hang out together all the time. So you're
Men
adult,
and women.
you have families. And, the thing that I've noticed though in the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years is that you see this talked about a lot more about the value of male friendships and the importance of that in, good mental health and, all of it. And men and women communicate with each other differently.
Al Johnson says grinder.
Oh, whoops. No. Well, maybe. I mean, but that's going to be more romantic, right?
Drag queen bingo, and the drag queen was on Grinder, and he was talking about it.
All of my gay friends are always on Grinder. Like they're constantly grinding. It's just.
The funny thing is, when you're on that app and when you're in a public place, you can tell where the people are.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, is in here right now.
What's amazing is that would never work for straight relationships. Like where it's like you can tell exactly where they are located and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah. Oh, well, I think there was for a little while, there was one that was kind of like that was for straight relationships and stuff, but it didn't last very long because like women were immediately like, I've got 1,000 men trying to, who know where my location is right now.
Like to be approached. It's just too much.
Women don't like to be approached, and they also don't like to not be approached.
Right.
Isn't that an interesting little phenomenon?
Right.
Approach me, but also don't approach me.
Right.
Right. So what do we do?
The man just needs to like give her the side eye for a second, and then just.
I think the side eye is worse than like just a straight up gaze. That's just my view.
I think women need to grow up a little in that area.
I do too. And that little clip that I posted of us talking, where it did I did realize later that it made it seem as if I was saying that you post your ass on Instagram, but you don't. Camellia does not post her ass on Instagram. I just want to say.
About, just all the people I've liked in the past. I like to seek my man out.
As we do know that that's what happened here. Jiu-jitsu classes are a solid place to make friends, says Dallas Smith. Yeah, some kind of like masculine activity. But the thing is not all men are masculine in like the traditional sense.
Right.
I feel like sometimes it's probably obvious, just sort of the signs that of me and my interests that I put out there on social media and what I talk about. But like traditional masculine things like football and sports or whatever, hockey, I don't know, what is the guys like, have never really interested me. So it's kind of hard to make friends, because as much as I do enjoy Dungeons and Dragons and different shit like that, like those aren't necessarily like the type of guys that I would hang out with on a Friday
It
night.
might be a little awkward
It might be
socially.
a little socially awkward,
Mhm.
right? So like I feel like I conform to a version of masculinity that might have existed, far beyond, our ancestors. I don't know, maybe the 1940s.
What's with your parent?
Yeah.
Like, is that a red flag?
Yes.
Flag.
You should have a healthy relationship with your parents, but if you're like hanging out with your parents, going to the bar with your parents, and it's like, I can't hang out with you tonight because my dad and I are going to go do shots at
Right.
the bar, that might be a little weird.
That creates boundary issues for sure.
I would think so. I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you think? Send us a text, 573-319-1586. It's time for us to move on to another topic, ladies. As fun as this was, as hot as this got us all under the collar. All right, there's two things that I hate: people that are intolerant of other people's cultures and the French. It's an ethnic slur. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us. Here, we like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America Show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America Show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America Show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America Show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America Show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Yeah, we do actually have some people who like to watch the show over there. If you're joining us over on the website this morning, don't forget we do like to live stream and have chat over at YouTube at youtube.com/AP4Liberty. Joining me in studio for Family Friday, my beautiful, smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wife, Steffi P. How you doing?
Doing great. I'm not even looking at my watch because I don't want it to end.
I know. We're having so much fun with our other friend, Camellia PetersOn. Good morning, CJ.
Good morning.
Give her a round of applause as well. Glad to have CJ
I
in
guess
studio.
clapping doesn't sound
Yeah, no,
good
this
on
is doesn't sound good on the mics. This is our very first time having 3 people on studio today, and the technical challenge was immense, but I have conquered it. Yes, I'm glad to have them here. We were talking during the break about like making friends and what you need to do to be able to make friends as an adult. And just very briefly before I have Camellia share her story, I thought it would be interesting to just kind of like, just relate that how I've made guy friends in the past, or have just make any friends in the past. A lot of times I have good friends that started out not liking me very much, to be honest. Like you were saying, Joe was telling about how I was
yeah.
kind of a dick.
He'll tell everybody
Yeah.
that you were mean to him the first time he met you.
Yeah, I was mean to him. Oh, hey, look at that. Look at this. This is hilarious.
What is this?
We got a super chat $1 from Barack Obama.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if anyone will give money in Joe Biden's name like he's
Joe Biden Force One actually did. He donated, right? So did that. Barack Obama gave us $1. You're hilarious. We appreciate you very much. Give him another round of applause.
Barack, everybody is welcome here.
We do only have 30 minutes left in the show, and we are trying to.
Oh my gosh!
I know it's flown by. I do want to remind you that we are trying to do a super chat challenge today, just to get as many people as possible doing super chats. It can be $1 like Barack Obama, $10 like Joni Rankin, $5 like Quest Fanning, any amount. We're just trying to get as many people as possible to super chat just to see if we can do it. So thanks to Barack Obama, I guess.
Stephen Matthews subscribed.
Yes,
Another subscriber.
Another subscriber. Well, I guess I can.
We even got an order during the show.
I know. Michael Nipp bought a shirt, so I guess I can say this ironically. Thanks, Obama. There is. Thanks.
Something Kanye would say.
Yeah, glad to have you here today. All right, so making friends. Camellia, you weren't necessarily the biggest fan of me when you first found out about me.
I was highly skeptical. It's like your friend Kathy Joe was hosting a meet and greet for you, or what I was like, and I had anyway. I thought you went full MAGA, and I was annoyed. And anyway,
You're not the only one.
Some snarky comment, and Kathy Joe was like, "Well, you can come and listen."
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
funny. Yes, I remember.
Eventually,
she pestered the hell out of me. She peppered me with questions. I mean, I was like, all spiced up because she was just like, well, this and that and this and this. And you said this about Trump, and then you said that about Trump, and you said this about Trump, and blah, blah, blah. But now here we are. We're good friends. All right. So let's hear your story about your daughter asking you a question about making friends, because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, we were talking when you said that the chat, they were kind of talking about making friends. And I thought, a couple of months ago, we were sitting in my room in St. Louis, and Felicity and I were just hanging out. Like out of the blue, she was like, how do you make friends? And first of all, that really caught me off guard. And I paused, and it breaks my heart a little bit too, because I'm like, for your child to say that, that's you want your kid to have friends. And it's not that she doesn't have friends, she does, but I think she's looking for somebody that she really clicks with, that meaningful friendship. And so I told her, I was like, that's hard because there's no formula per se. And this is not just an issue for kids. Adults have this issue. I mean, maybe even more so. It's probably even harder for adults to make friends for sure than it is kids. But there is no sure way to just, know who's going to, how are you going to make a friend? And I told her, first of all, obviously, the old saying, to be, you have to be friendly, to be a friend, you've got to be friendly to make friends. So you do have to put yourself out there. And I think that's part of it. That's part of what we're talking about, finding groups and things like that, is that, for men to make friends or for women to make friends, you can't just sit back in your house on your computer or gaming or whatever, and expect that you're going to make friends. You have to actually be friendly. You have to put yourself out there. But even then, that's no guarantee that you just click with some people more than you do others. And there's pretty number of reasons, but it's hard.
Felicity is so lucky that she's still of school age, because that's where I met some of my deepest friends in high school, in college. Those are the friends I still have today. My other deepest friendships were actually my online friendships from when I was a kid. Those are some of the most impactful ones to me.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I am joined in studio by my wife, Stephanie Petersen, and our friend, Camellia Peterson. It's Pete, and Pete. The Adventures of Pete and Pete. And we're glad to have you as a live stream viewer this morning. We've been talking about a lot of different topics. The top of the show today, we were discussing this Eliza Bleu character. It looks like now her name is trending over on Twitter. So do you want to catch our listeners up on what this story is, Stephanie, this whole Eliza Bleu thing? Can you give us a brief Reader's Digest?
Eliza Bleu is a sex trafficking advocate, and she also says she is a survivor of sex trafficking herself. And she said that there's some hip hop video that people were taking screenshots of, and it was a non-consensual video, and so that's why she wanted it taken down. Then she said that people have been using her photo to catfish others on dating apps. So she says she's a victim of trafficking somehow that way as well. And then other people are saying that her entire story of how she was trafficked just doesn't add up, because her timeline of events, she wasn't in the certain place at the certain time when she was a certain age.
I'm looking at, Free the Quartering is trending. I mean, this is one of the biggest stories in the world right now. What's fascinating to me is the fact that it's nowhere on the mainstream media, right? They're not covering this at all. And I mean, the way, how much the left hates Elon Musk and how she is sort of tangentially associated with him.
Right.
You would
they
think,
would jump. Yeah.
you think they'd be all over this story, especially because it involves, someone. But at this point, it's almost kind of like an internal battle on the right, in a sense, right? Because she associates very much with libertarians and is part of the liberty movement, I would say, to an extent. Because I think she came out and said that she wants Spike Cohen to run for president.
Right.
So I mean, that kind of shows where her loyalties lie in terms of her ideology. But she, her story is unraveling. I'm seeing now that a freaking documentary was just released, or at least the trailer for the
I
documentary
really want
about
to
her.
see that.
Yeah.
Facts. I
Yeah.
mean, what evidence do people have on her?
Yeah. So this is the trailer called "Who is Eliza Bleu?" It's a 3-minute trailer. I'm not going to be able to play it on the stream, unfortunately. I'm not set up for that today. I wasn't prepared to be able to play clips because of the 3 guest setup. But we'll continue to grow and to build the channel. And remember, your super chats do go to that, so make sure that you do that as well today before we leave. But I'll watch that, and I'm guessing that over the weekend we're going to see some more news on this story. Eliza Bleu now trending at the very, very top of Twitter. Everybody's discussing this story because, well, she's calling for suspension of people who are calling out calling her into question, her character into question, and people who I respect, like Jeremy from the Quartering, have been suspended from Twitter. I don't know if he's been banned or suspended, as far
Right.
as I understand it, but I guess it's because they've posted these publicly available photographs, and I'm looking at it now. We've got people who are posting this same photograph as well in
Oh, so the photo is still out there. You can still find it.
yeah.
Well, the video's still out there, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that was the video I saw earlier, was of her butt in lingerie. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it was her butt in lingerie.
Okay.
But Eliza Bleu looked like a deer in headlights when Tim Cass called out the fact that she and her survivors are going after money in their case against Cobra Tate, Andrew Tate. So there's an Andrew Tate angle in all this.
Oh wow, did he take advantage of her?
Well, no, maybe, but here's the thing. The question of he's being accused of trafficking.
Yes.
So man, this might just be one of those stories where there are no good guys. Except for maybe the quartering, but
I think the silver lining here is that we need to talk more about trafficking. We need to be more informed about it because I don't think people really know what it is.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it just means that somebody is coerced. I mean, human trafficking in general, someone is coerced to do something for someone, even if it's like labor, a job. That's human trafficking.
Yeah.
Well, we tend to take terms and kind of on social media, broaden them and they get watered down, kind of like grooming. We've seen that happen with grooming. And I think the risk here is that we start to see this happen with trafficking too, which is unfortunate because then it diminishes, what actual trafficking is. And that gets focused on less.
Yeah, this story is fascinating to me because of what a tangled web it is and involves so many different people. Now there's, the Andrew Tate angle I'm just learning about this one again. And, you can't go over to CBS or Fox News and read about this story and get caught up on the details. The only way you're able to figure this out is to put together what you can get from people who are making statements on Twitter. And it's like, who the hell knows how reliable this information is?
I mean, I don't trust anybody on
Yeah, I
the
don't either.
internet.
I
That's
don't
why
either.
I still have some hope out there for Eliza.
Yeah, me too. I hope that it's not true, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pick sides on this or anything like that. Where I was like, the other day I was talking about Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire. I'm kind of like, I think Steven's a little bit in the wrong here. But in this situation, I don't know.
People are making assumptions.
People are making assumptions, and here's the thing: you post a photograph of her that shows her butt from a
2016 video.
From a music video, right? And that's supposed to be evidence that maybe she's, her character should be called into question. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. Especially because one of the people, I mean, no offense, I don't really know anything about Britney, but I mean, I wouldn't say, I won't call her a titty streamer, but I mean, like, from everything that I see of Britney Vonti, like one of the main focuses of Britney's content is on her chest.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, if you're gonna turnabout's fair play on that one. If you're gonna say, hey, well, we're calling her character into question because her ass is out on a YouTube video, well, then I mean, like, don't make most of your content about your giant boobs, right? So I'm just saying, right? I'm not trying to.
Makes me think of, that they've always said that, history is written by the victors or, whatever.
Yes.
And like, I wonder, you got to wonder like 50, 100 years from now, history is not going to be written the same way that it's always been written because of stuff like this, because everybody has access to information and sharing and it's just kind of mind-boggling to think about.
It's funny because, like, as wrong as it was for the mainstream media to have such a monopoly for so long over the narrative or the news, it was maybe it was easier to kind of determine what fact from fiction to a large degree, or maybe we were just being force-fed what they said.
It was simpler, simpler times, I guess.
Simpler times, yeah.
We're not lawyers. We're not judges. We're not equipped to handle all of this evidence that's coming at us. We don't know how to analyze things. BX Bullet, I really wonder if she knows anything about this topic. Maybe she'd even want to talk about it because she has those skills to really sort through information and weed out the bad stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Our listeners are messaging in today over on the live stream. We'd love to hear from you. So let's see. My husband is one of those extroverts. They're saying, I'm sorry, I had one. Going to have the YouTube spotlight on AP Hard. Trying to figure out what Amanda's talking about there in the live stream. What are you guys chatting about over there? Let us in on the chat. We want to know what's going on over there. You can also text the show today at 573-319-1586. All right, let's move off the Eliza Bleu topic because, again, to a large degree, what we're really talking about here is speculation and we can't prove it. Let's talk about something that we can prove, and that is the Associated Press is retarded. Okay. All right. What the hell is this story that you sent me yesterday? And the AP, they had to pull down their tweet, which you love to see.
Well,
because I hate the Associated Press. I think they're the biggest propaganda outlet in the world.
The AP style book.
The AP style book. Oh, okay. I thought it was the Associated Press.
So
might as well be.
Well, I know, right? But these are also the people who tell you like how you're supposed to, what's supposed to go in publications, how you're supposed to word things, the correct way to do things.
We tell you how to speak.
Right. And so they came out and every time I looked at it yesterday, the funnier it got. And they tweeted that we recommend avoiding general and often dehumanizing the labels, such as the poor, the mentally ill, the French, the disabled, the college educated. Instead, you use wording such as people with mental illnesses or whatever. So anyway, they're like going on with this.
The mentally ill.
Right. The U.S. French embassy quote tweets them and says, "I guess this is us now." And they literally changed, or went to edit their profile, and they have a screenshot of it, and it says, "Embassy of Frenchness in the U.S."
So here's the thing with like wokeness, and I've read this. You guys might not have seen this because it's just kind of like, very obscure. But I've actually read that even people in Europe who are on the left think that American wokeness has gone too far.
I mean, they call themselves francophones, don't they?
Well, yeah, and French
The
is
francophones.
yeah, well, French is a gendered language, and so American wokeism seeks to divest gender from terms in and pronouns from terminology. But I mean, when I was in high school and we were learning French, I remember my French teacher told me, she was like, "You can be at the biggest feminist rally in the entire world, and it's all out there, and it's women's rights, women's rights, women's rights. But if there is one man in that audience, one man, you refer to it as like the masculine pronoun."
Oh, right. Well, mankind, men, if you don't know, like if it's a
Yes.
mixed audience, you're saying,
Right.
Mhm.
Or what about this? Mailman.
right.
What about male woman, male congressman, congresswoman.
They have the in front of everything. J'aime le chien. I like the dog.
Yes, they do. Yeah. So,
Right? So it's like, should we just take out the j'aime chien?
well, I mean, that's what Latinx is about, right?
Well, not
So
even.
Latinx is the attempt to degender Spanish. And most, Latinos and Latinas at least that I know or I hear from, they're not big fans of this, right?
Right.
It's always white liberals who are trying to tell ethnics what they should do with their own language and stuff in order to fight racism. Which they're incapable of recognizing the irony, are they, Camellia?
And you know what? It's like a lot of things. There's probably like a little seed of validity in there. And that I was telling you during the break that I worked with people with mental illnesses for several years. And so I've never liked calling them mentally ill people. I've always consciously shifted that to people with mental illness because I didn't feel like that mental illness needed to, be what their whole personality was or their whole person was. That didn't need to define them because it's an illness. But at the same time, it's one of those things where we take things too far. And so we overgeneralize, and what do you call the poor? Like,
well, here's the thing:
fiscally challenged
here's the
people,
thing. What's funny about that is like Christians could say this is an attack on our language to an extent, because what is one of Jesus's words? The poor you will always have with you.
Right.
Because wasn't it someone that asked Jesus in the Bible, Camellia, should I give like this to the church? Should I give my donation to the church, or should I just give it directly to the poor? And Jesus said, well, the poor you will always have with you.
I guess we got to ban the Bible.
Well, because, is somebody correct me if I'm wrong over there in the live stream. I am sometimes wrong. It does happen. What was the context there with the story about Jesus? Because I'm pretty sure that it was kind of like Jesus was like, make sure that you tithe and give to the church. Should we call it the church, really?
Offensive to the church.
That's it. We're banning all article adjectives. Get rid of them. You're done.
I mean, I can tell you how many times people say the Jews.
The Jews, yes, that's probably exactly what they're talking about, to be honest. Honestly, there is something though, like, and I've heard Jews talk about this before when they talk about anti-Semitism, that like one of the ways that they kind of detect anti-Semitism is the way that somebody says the Jews. Right.
You're stereotyping me. Judgments coming through your words.
Gentlemen, are you looking at her nose? Don't you look at her nose. I'm taking the camera off of her. You can't see her nose, don't you?
The Jewish nose.
The Jewish nose. The Japs, right? But not Japanese. The Jewish American princesses.
Right.
Just call them Japs. But don't call them Japs because that's also a slur.
We should just ban the.
Just ban the?
Solve the problem.
Ban Japs.
Stop hating
Jews.
on the.
All right. 4 unsexy signs of impressively high mental strength. We're going to blow through the commercial break and just continue on so we can earn our super chats. Have you given us a super chat yet today? We're coming up towards the end of the show. If you haven't yet, do us a favor. Just send us $1 at minimum. We're just trying to get as many people as possible. Individual donors today. We're going for a record of individual donors to the Wake Up America show today. We'd love it. And if you're like, it may be payday and I got some money, but I'm Mr. Scrooge and I want to get something for it. Well, you little capitalist, we've got the AP for Liberty shop. You can go over there as well and get yourself an awesome t-shirt or merch.
Starbucks doesn't need your money. AP does.
Exactly. Starbucks doesn't need your money. They've got plenty of money. We need it over here so we can continue to grow. Monday, we've got a new employee starting.
Though, when I used to love Ron Paul, I was like, I want to donate, but I want something. So I basically got every item from his shop back in the day.
Yes.
Like a pen, even.
We do have Wake Up America show merchandise that you created, and people have been buying your Valentine's merchandise.
So much. That warms my heart. I worked really hard for hours last weekend on that merchandise.
Yeah, you made the little heart candy that says taxation is theft. And you made the beautiful Cupid with a machine gun shirt as well. And she's made all the Wake Up America show merch shop stuff as well. All right, so let's get back to the story so we can earn our super chats, as Elizabeth Fanning Press said. She says, you believe in tough self-love, not comfortable self-love. When my girlfriend of 3.5 years broke up with me, I was messed up. She was my everything, and I lost everything in the span of a 14-minute phone call. Yes, on call. And I never saw her after that, so I decided to show myself some love because I thought I needed it. I didn't want to do anything productive, and I ate as many chocolate pastries as I wanted to. I told myself it was okay, but it didn't make me feel better. It made me feel like crap, absolute crap. This was not self-love, it was self-hate. So this guy read a book that changed his life called Can't Hurt Me, and it completely flipped my perspective. But he started working out like crazy, ate cleaner than ever, studied around the clock, changed everything of his life. He felt so great. He loved himself. And people who have high mental strength go easy on themselves very rarely and only in the smallest of doses. But as a general idea, self-love means challenging yourself and being a fan of tough love. Your thoughts, Steffi?
Yes, I mean, I think self-love is so, so important. I talk about it all the time. Self-care, self-care. But really, what does that mean? And so what we normally go to is light candles, rest, take a nice bubble bath, do things that you enjoy. And the thing is, it's really hard to motivate people to do tough self-love, especially a lot of people who are depressed. They just don't have the drive to do tough self-love stuff just yet. So first I say, do that easy self-love stuff that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And then once your mood gets boosted, then do more of the tough self-love stuff.
But if that self-love is onanism, don't do it because you'll go to hell.
That can give you some relief. But then it makes you procrastinate. What causes procrastination? Onanism.
Okay. Andy Opperman joined in today with $25 friggin' dollars. Dude, that is huge. Big spender. Spend a little time on me. Hey, thank you, Andy. He says, a tip to the most like-minded person I have found in media. Please let us know when and where we can watch your new cartoon. Yeah.
Nice.
Aren't you guys excited to see the cartoon?
So cool.
My voice is like shot because I was like screaming and hollering in the microphone because there's this scene where when I won't give it away too much, but like he like is like drowning in like a boat. He's like getting tossed and turned in the waves, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Andy, I think you'll really like it. Guess what? We just got a super chat from. So we've had Joe Biden, we've had Barack Obama, and I shit you not, we just got a $1 donation from Kamala Harris.
Oh my
Wow. Wow.
They're picking up new names. Can you change your YouTube name really easily?
I honestly have no clue, but all I know is that Kamala Harris just gave us $1. I gotta say, that is Kamala and Doug H giving the money for the super chats as well. There's another $2.
Nice.
You're no strangers to super chats. You know the rules, and so do I. Just give us, yes, go ahead on.
Great.
Oh, Stephanie, so she's so supportive. See, I don't even need to have self-love because I've got all the love I need from my beautiful wife. Oh, I need to add like an aw from the like a crowd. Ah, yes, yeah, something like that. It makes me feel good. Feel very beautiful. Thank you, Stephanie.
Very welcome.
Number 2. Okay.
Well,
Oh, yeah. I didn't get your take. Sorry.
Gonna say one of the things I thought about, when he was talking about he went out and he started doing these things, and that's what's really difficult is because people are like, oh, I need to be motivated to do something, where some things I got to find what motivates me, and that's like it's like a fallacy, like it rarely ever works out. And so we have been talking about this, we've got teenagers, and anyway, it's hard to feel motivated to do things. So on our whiteboard in our kitchen, we write things, and on there I have written in big letters, feelings follow action. Because a lot of times we don't feel like doing something until we start doing it.
Really good.
And then when you start doing it, then you start feeling, because you feel better, like the reward comes after, and then you're more motivated to keep doing things because you feel better when you're working out, when you're eating right, when you're doing all those things, but you have to actually do it. So it just
Isn't that always how it is with us, Stephanie? Especially like when we were talking about when we go to karate class, how we like just slugs.
Right. I'm like, I want to do easy self-care stuff tonight.
We're just like sliming, creating a slime trail as we walk into karate, like.
Right.
And then when we walk out, we're like, yeah, we feel so great because it was taking the action first that gave us the motivation, right? Versus
our endorphins naturally through exercise.
It did. It was it's always smart. Unsexy signs of impressively high mental strength is what we're talking about today. You are an unbroken optimist. You know what? I feel like I can pat myself on the back on this one because I pretty much feel like 95% of the time. Yeah.
But I was optimistic.
Yeah. I always look on the bright side of life. I always am finding silver linings in clouds, because I feel like I've had so much experience in my life now at this point to where I've always been pretty optimistic anyway. But if you can survive that I have been through in my life, I'll tell you, you can pretty much do anything. Once you've kind of run for president of the United States, and taken that amount of shit.
Whole life out there.
Yeah, because I mean, every moment of every second, because it's like, let's say Eliza Bleu, even if she's not the victim that she was, let's say she survives this, you know what I mean, comes out stronger on the other side and comes out better, right? She will be stronger for it, right? So, but retaining a sense of optimism, I mean, in today's age, guys,
right,
it's almost impossible because everybody on the internet that's not us, that's not the Wake Up America show, as soon as you step outside this program, it gets dark.
It does.
It gets dark. You turn on Twitter and you start looking what people are saying, or on Facebook and all this stuff, and it is nothing but an endless stream of cynicism and unhappiness and of doom and gloom and of lack of joy. Where are the optimists out there? Did you see that video I played of John Stossel yesterday about?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
I just saw a study the other day. They were talking about, why, even with journalism, you always hear if it bleeds, it leads. There is something that is very reinforcing about negativity and things that spark outrage. And physically in our bodies, there is a positive reward. There's a positive reaction in us to negative things, which sounds completely opposite of what you would think.
Well, like the point that I thought was the most important in the Stossel video yesterday was that people who sell you or who are sell dire predictions of disaster in the future seem as if they're very concerned, and everybody's like, oh, they're concerned for our survival, they're concerned for I got coffee on my forehead, they're concerned about the future, they're worried about us, that they're very caring people because they're pessimistic and they're doom and gloom, so they're just trying to look out for us. But if you sell people rational optimism, then you seem uncaring.
Right.
Right.
You're
not validating my reality.
Exactly, because I think that things are bad and terrible and things are going to get worse. And if you tell me, no, actually things are better than they have been, and they're probably going to continue to improve. Well, you don't care about me. Just tell me that Ron Paul's got a bunker we can hide in somewhere when the nuclear annihilation finally comes, and I can finally live out my libertarian fantasy of watching the world be destroyed in fire. But I hope things get better, and I'm still got an investment in a 401k.
I think though there is There is thing as being too optimistic.
Sure. Oh, yeah. And being naive,
Right.
essentially.
People
yeah.
just got their head in the clouds. They're wearing their rose-colored glasses, and they're just not in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Can I ask you a question? Because as we're heading towards the last bits of this show, do you want us to continue on for a few more minutes? Camellia, do you have any more time?
I do. I just have to be out by about 15 after.
Okay, so here's the deal. Stephanie and I, she's got to be somewhere at 11, so we can't go too much longer. But if you want us to go a little bit longer, super chats. So drop some super chats. Yeah, in the next 5 minutes. If we get a few super chats, we will stick around for a little bit longer. Otherwise, we'll cut it off at 9, and that's okay. You know, I'm optimistic though that there will be some more super chats to have us stick around for a little bit longer on a Friday. If you want us to, if not, that's okay. We can stick around and we'll take it as an L. Take my L. Number 3, unsexy sign of mental strength. You get back up stronger. Make me a little bit stronger.
That's right.
What do you think, Stephanie? Are you getting back stronger after, a loss? Oh boy, I've taken a lot of L's in my life, I'll tell you.
You got to get back up on that horse. I mean, you probably know raising children, right? If they make a little mistake, if they spill some juice on the floor, it's okay. Clean it up. You got it. Refill up that glass.
Yeah.
So important to learn how to fail. Which is why it's so important. We want to protect it. We want to protect our kids from, things that make them feel bad. We want to protect them from failing, from that feeling. But it's so important to let them fail and be like, well, I mean, that's like, natural consequences and how to cope with that.
And the problem with being able to fail now is that all of our fails are compiled into videos and put on Fail Army, right? Like
little accidents.
Well, but
that's
the thing,
what I call them.
little accidents, but it's like, imagine like learning to be a skater and wanting to learn how to be a pro skater. And then there's somebody always constantly doing it. And every single time you screw up, everybody's going to know, the whole school's going to know every single mistake that you made as you're trying to learn how to do something. And it didn't used to be like that. It used to be that we could fail in private, but we can't anymore. Everything that we do is in public. Number 3 is unsexy sign of mental strength is that you get up stronger after a defeat. Number 4, and this is good because we're heading towards the end and I don't see any super chats, so it looks like we'll end at 9. You low-key like your disadvantages. So I've only really recently started to look into my dark side. When I say my dark side, the things that I'm good at and that I'm not good at. And like hiring an employee was actually like the thing that really forced me to sit down and say, what can I really not do here? Or at least not do as well as the other things that need to be done for the show. And I realized, okay, this is my disadvantage here. Matt Unruh just donated $10. He really wants us. Yeah, he really wants us to stick around. Matt, thank you very much. We appreciate that. I tell you what, if we get 2 more in the next 3 minutes, we'll stick around for a little bonus episode on the show. So 2 more super chats. Oh, Terry Miller, $2. There he is. Okay, that's right. They really love us. If we get 1 more super chat, then we will stick around for a little bonus on the show. We appreciate you very much. You can do it. Yes. Thank you for that. So number 4, you low-key like your disadvantages. Disadvantages can be used in 2 ways. You can use them as valid excuses, throw a pity party, and people will join you because your disadvantage is apparent, right? Like I'm missing a leg, I can't swim.
Right.
You can use them as opportunities to succeed in spite of your disadvantages, right? The guy who has no legs is an amazing swimmer, right? So we kind of love those stories, don't we?
Yeah, the first person that came to my mind when I read about this was the guy who does karate and he has no limbs.
Right.
We've watched some really amazing videos of him.
He's basically only got like 1 arm.
And he's a black belt.
Yeah, he's a black belt. And here's the thing. So he would like do these competitions and he would show his kata. And the guy can do some freaking kata. And because he doesn't have arms or legs, you can't really tell exactly the kata that he's doing. So he has 2 people in the background showing the kata, they're doing it with him,
right,
so that you can kind of see what it would look like if he's doing it perfectly. But I mean, like in terms of like the movements and like what he's able to like move around and stuff like that, he has learned these katas, which are like complex forms in karate.
Or people who have tics. I know there's a lot of comedians who have tics, like Tourette's syndrome, and they use it to their advantage because it makes a good show, right? People laugh.
Yeah, we just got our 3rd super chat, and Andy Opperman as well, JGJ.
Oh gosh.
Looks like we're
You guys are
sticking around.
great.
All right, so we'll stick around for a bonus segment here for another 10 minutes. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Doesn't mean that don't send any more super chats, by the way. We are trying to. We are just
bar where you're gonna cut off.
Exactly. We're trying to essentially we're trying to just like beat our record of number of people who are donating today. We appreciate that very much. All right, so what should we do for our bonus segment? What's on the top of your minds, ladies? Or should I go back and pull a topic that we didn't hit today, or is there anything that our super chatters would like for us to discuss?
I mean, what's the headlines today?
Yeah,
What's going on in the news?
Yeah, send us a text if you'd like to send us a story suggestion at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. George Santos is the big story, that's for
Oh my
sure.
Lord.
How about, can we talk about and I don't know, maybe that you're into this, maybe you're not. Camellia, have you been intrigued by the artificial intelligence at all that I've been talking about? And
Yeah, no, I think it's really neat. It presents us with some challenges as a society that, I mean, I'm all for it. A lot of people are like, oh, we're going to hell in a handbasket now and everything's going to be terrible and the robots are going to take over the world and, everything is awful. And a lot of times this is on the conservative side.
I know a lot of artists do not like AI because they
Right.
feel that the AI is copying their art.
Al Johnson asks, do you guys make more of the Wake of America show from our Patreon or our YouTube donations? So it's tough. It's starting to kind of hit parity. It's getting a little bit closer to even. YouTube takes a cut, right? So if you want to make a donation to the Wake Up America show or become a sponsor, if you go to the website and then click the support button, then we get like 98% of that minus like the transfer fees and stuff.
Right.
YouTube takes like 30%. So, but here's the thing, like, we've got all the donation collection buckets out as we sing for our supper or in this show breakfast.
It's personal checks.
Yeah, like Maria did as well, which is we're super grateful for. So
I'm not in the chat, but you do get $5 for parody. And by the way, for those who aren't sure, that's not PARODY.
no, thank you. Yes, although they're basically pronounced the same.
Give him money.
You kidding me?
No, I would be rich.
I'm like, where's all that money?
No. We don't get that money. So no, it's a game. It's a game. Whenever Austin uses a big word on the show, or anyone uses a big word on the show, then Camellia is the bank, like in Monopoly,
right?
And she gives out the money. So
That's
using the word parody is $5. $5 word, yeah. What did I say yesterday? That was $10. Erudite.
Erudite.
Yeah, you don't use that one in conversation very much these days. But
that's just some words are just beautiful words. That's one of those beautiful words.
Do you know how to spell parody?
Yeah, PARITY, if you're talking about that word.
RODY is parody also.
Yes. That's the one it's not.
Okay, yeah, parody and parody. Another fail. No, not a double entendre. No, they're just different words that sound exactly the same. What are those called? Homophones, right?
Yes.
Oh gosh, I always get my homophones
Is it
and
homophone? Homophone.
I always get those mixed up.
Homophones. Each of two or more words having the same pronunciation but different meanings.
Yes. Okay.
Oh God, do I get $5 for homophone?
Good job.
Yes, homophones.
For people.
Don't be such a homophone.
I've been stuck in my APA book learning grammar all of my career.
For sure. Barack Obama says, can you talk about me? We can. Barack Obama. Yes. So we want to say thanks, Obama.
I voted for Barack Obama.
I never understood why people thought Barack Obama was eloquent.
Well,
yeah, I just didn't. I don't know.
Well,
he's really good at speaking.
Didn't Joe Biden say, you've got your first black man who's clean and articulate and all that? Wasn't that his quote?
It's like some stuff.
That's not very nice of him to say.
Getting a lot of fails out here in this this bonus segment of the Wake Up America show. We're super impressed with all of the generosity of our supporters today, like JGJ and Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Sarah Palacios, glad to have you here today. Corey Kleiber also as well. I mean, isn't the Cantina crew fun? We sure do love you guys.
Optimist. I could definitely say that.
Me too.
It's just always upbeat.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the positive, optimistic vibes from Sarah and Jose. I think her husband is Sarah and Jose.
Just a power couple.
Yeah, they're a power couple for sure. Power Liberty couple for sure.
So do positive, optimistic people listen to more music?
I don't know.
If music has that effect on you, of being relaxed and calm and positive? Do they listen to
I mean, a lot of depressed people listen to music too, but usually they listen to really depressing music that makes them sad.
Music, I mean, I think it can cause your moods, and I think it can also like the other way around, I guess.
It's an outlet for your moods too. Yeah.
To an extent. What do you think, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, music, actually, that was one of our topics today. Music definitely reduces stress. It helps with mood regulation. Now, fast music, upbeat music, it makes your heart rate go faster.
Yeah.
And then slow music actually slows your heart rate. So your body really does listen to the music.
Yeah,
It responds.
that's why in karate, even though like you don't do this traditionally, I'll play in the beginning for our meditation music. I'll play this slow, beautiful flute with like Japanese, tinge to it, and
like what
then
you hear in a spa.
yeah, but then once we start punching and kicking the bag and getting our heart rate up, then I'm like finding 120, 140 beat or minute songs.
Yeah, that's a good question. What music do you like to listen to when you're working out?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on
Gets
that.
you motivated. For me, it's punk rock music.
Yeah, she
From
loves.
when I was younger, that gets me going.
She's not okay. What about you, Camellia?
Well, I don't really have a music that I listen to when I work out, but if I'm really annoyed with something, I was super annoyed with crazy people the other day having to do with politics. I was like, okay, I'm gonna put some classical music on. And so I'm like, listen, I was like, and it was really helpful. I was like feeling much more calm. And then the Flight of the Bumblebee kicked in. I'm like, there you go. Heart rate started increasing.
How does that go? How does that song go?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't like
What do you mean?
vocalize it.
Yeah, you can.
It's like the orchestral thing. It's like it's very fast and it comes on very suddenly and loudly. So
Vocalize it.
Do what?
Vocalize it. I can't remember it.
I was like trying to figure out.
I don't know it enough. I'm not sure.
It's like I don't know. It's like it's hard to vocalize it so fast. First of all,
you're doing it too fast. Do it again. Hold on. Okay, go.
Oh, that's pretty accurate. So what I'm remembering.
Like Flight of the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
So anyway, my dad used to, when I was a kid, on Sunday mornings, early in the morning, used to blast that through the stereo in the house to wake us up, and I hated it so
my goodness. Yeah, music is very nostalgic. We've talked about nostalgia before. Yeah, when I want to be nostalgic, I listen to my punk rock music because it reminds me of my teenage years.
Sarah Palacios listens to Christian rap.
Nice. Wow, that exists? That's so cool.
It is. Yeah, there's this one guy who does a pretty good one online. He's like, that's why Jesus Christ is my N-word.
Oh gosh, does he really do that?
Yeah, there's the old guy online. Boy. He's like, is singing in my rap. That's why Jesus Christ is my N-word.
Is he someone who could say that word?
No.
Oh no.
No, it's pretty bad.
I used to listen to a lot of contemporary Christian music. Some of it's okay, some of it's kind of cringy. And the days of Christian metal. Oh my word!
There's bands. Yeah, I remember back in like the '90s when like Christian metal, they were like, "All right, this is it, kids. Stay away from Slayer. We have got for you." Where it's just so much better. To me, there was really only one DC Talk. They were the only Christian rock band that I thought was any good, and they had one hit song, and they still play it everywhere. I think I understand.
Jesus Freaks or something.
Sing it.
I don't remember it.
What would people think if they find that I'm a Jesus freak? What would people think if they find that it's true?
How do you remember that better than I do? I probably listened to it way more than you did.
I was in church a lot growing up. But you know what I used to enjoy too was when they used to do the Christian like remakes of songs.
Oh, that was terrible.
Oh no.
Kids only Christian books?
Yes, Christian books.
Words?
They would take the words and they would change it, and they would be like, it would be like, instead of when I saw her face, now I'm a believer.
Boy.
They would be like, when I saw his grace, now I'm a believer. I couldn't even if I tried.
Oh man, no, don't do that. I don't think they do that anymore. You don't do that. Like Christian music, people don't do that.
Stations really do trick me because I'll be like driving along in the car, seeking on the radio, and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, this sounds great. And then they're like, Jesus. And I'm like, oh.
Sarah is trying to convert us. She says there's new amazing Christian heavy metal that hits hard now.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it sounds like to me.
We're sort of dragging on Christian music. I'll tell you, like my one pet peeve with Christian music, and there's a lot of really great music out there that I think is beautiful and well written. But then you have the whole praise and worship genre, and the songs that go on and on and on and on. Oceans, by the way, for all of you who are looking at chat, if you know what Oceans is, this is what I'm talking about. It's like you repeat the same phrase a million times in the same musical phrase to over and over again. And it's emotionalism, frankly, but it's also super annoying.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the Jewish songs. I'm like, what do we have? Yeah, the only song I know, Hava Nagila. Be like, lie, 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 lie. There's like no words. There's lie, 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 and everyone's like tapping. It's like that just goes on forever.
It's good music though. Like, so contemporary Jewish music might be like the Maccabees.
Yeah.
You guys ever listen to any of the Maccabees? They have some fun songs.
Do they?
It's kind of cheesy. I mean, they're not songs that you'd listen to in the car.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, no. So that's the thing though that I never understood was why the Jews wrote so much awesome Christian music, but they never wrote like such awesome music for themselves.
It's a disservice.
Yeah, well, they probably get paid a lot more because there's a lot more Christians than there are Jews.
Hey, Moses, you know.
I don't know. Moses supposes his toes were roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Oh, and by the way, I saw who was it that in the chat, was it Corey or somebody? Hold on, I'm gonna read. Oh, Michael Nip. He says instead of walking in Memphis, I'm walking in Memphis. I'm walking with Jesus. That's a good one. That's a good one. Somebody was trying to get my attention over in the chat. They said, AP, have you ever listened to Tom McDonald? I'd love to see you do some reaction videos to his stuff. I don't know Tom McDonald.
No clue.
Yeah. I don't know. No clue. You can text the show 573-319-1586. Have we talked, Camellia, have we talked about George Santos? You and I, have we talked about this yet?
Maybe a little. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, he admitted to being a drag queen.
Oh yeah, that's
One
true.
time.
Well, no, he admitted to doing drag, but not being a queen,
Right.
which I thought was kind of hilarious, actually.
The memes have been great.
Yeah. Yes. Matt Unruh says he gets a little triggered when every Friday devolves into faith hating. These are sweeping generalizations. Matt, we're not trying to hate on your faith, brother.
No.
And by the way, we do, we're equal opportunity teasing and stuff like that. We just, if we had a Muslim in here, we'd tease him about Islam and, chopping off.
Muslims? I don't
Yes.
like, rock or rap.
See, Muslim hating. There you go.
Yeah.
Muslim.
Before I do, like, Matis Yahoo. He's awesome Jewish music.
Oh, yes. King Without a Crown. Yo, yo, yo. Yes. Now, King Without a Crown, Matis Yahoo. There is some religious music that I can get into.
Yeah.
Matt, we don't want to make you feel bad, brother, but I appreciate you voicing your concerns about that one.
You and I, we sing religious songs a lot.
I do, yeah. And we sing religious songs, but we also do Christmas and Hanukkah. So I mean, we do have some religious observances.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I wanted to get your take, Camellia, because you were supposed to be on the show yesterday, and we were talking about Pam Anderson and Pamela Anderson and Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
Yeah. Do you think that he flashed his pee-pee to her?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I did get to actually listen to that while I was driving to my appointment, but yeah, I mean, I think she's just trying to sell her book.
I think so too, but I think she said was that he like opened up he's like, I've seen you naked, so it's only fair. So he like opened up his robe to her and all that kind of stuff. Which, by the way, if you've never been in a musical, or if you've never been in a show, or if you've never done a movie, or you've never done television, there are naked people everywhere, mostly women, but sometimes you see naked men. It happens. The dressing rooms, by the way, we're not all famous when we're in TV or movies or, plays or what have you. And sometimes we don't all have dressing rooms. Sometimes we do, but sometimes your naked ass has to take your freaking clothes off and you have to do it in front of people because there's just not enough space in the studio to change. Now, did Tim Allen, flash Pamela Anderson? We will never know. Is it possible she's lying? Sure.
Is it possible she's flashed him? Yes.
She's flashed the whole world.
Do we ever hear of any men who have filed complaints about getting flashed by women?
Right. I don't want to see the boobs.
I don't know, but I think they would get their ass laughed at right now because, like, isn't it funny though? I mean, we've only got a couple minutes left. Isn't it funny though how, like, the female body is like so universally accepted, and the yeah, and the male body is universally despised and hated, and it's almost it's the male body is criminalized.
Talk about the male body
I mean, free the nipple for sure, but I mean, like, the female body is criminalized too. But I mean, like,
about the male body.
it's not a scandal if you see somebody's tits walking down the street. I mean, you'd be like, oh God, that's nice, but you'd be like, haha. But if you see a guy's pee-pee, you're gonna be like, oh my God, call the cops. How's he gonna use that thing? Because it's a dangerous weapon, ladies. Go ahead, Sarah.
Sorry. In P, that word that we all talk about,
Yeah.
they don't usually show men.
Well, that's because men don't want to see other men's, men don't want to see other men's thing. Women don't want to see it either. Camelia's face right now. I wish I could zoom in. I wish I had an ability to zoom these cameras in, but all I can do is make the best of what I got. That's
You're watching Showtime or something.
Yeah.
They show the women, but they don't show the men.
One of these days, the Wake Up America show is going to be in its own studio, and it's going to have cameras that can zoom in, and I won't have to run the cameras. I will be able to just sit back and relax. But as it is, I'm over here with the camera switcher going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, trying to make sure that everybody's face is shown when it is, and try not to pick my nose on camera. But that day is not today. But we're closer towards that day because of all the support from people like you. Yeah, that's right. So many people made super chat donations today that I couldn't possibly list you off right now. My voice is dead. It's been an exciting week. I did a cartoon show that's going to be coming out for you very soon. The Adventures of Jonathan Gullible. Lots of exciting things coming up on the horizon. In February, I'm going to be debating at Turning Point USA.
February 22nd.
That's right. February 22nd, I will be representing the Liberty Movement as a whole in a great debate, me versus the state. Yeah, so I'll be debating the statists that will be brought out. It'll be like, what's that scene in Gladiator where he just kills them all? It's going to be awesome. Watch me defend the principles of liberty. Not as if they need defending, but you know what? I'll do my best. Camellia PetersOn, thanks so much for joining us in studio today. It's nice to see you here. Give Camellia a round of applause, if you will.
And we were talking about making friends, and Austin's talking about picking his nose. And I will tell you what my dad always told me. You can pick your friends, and you can pick your nose, but you cannot pick your friend's nose.
Oh, give her a round of applause on that one.
Oh,
very good. Stephanie, my lovely wife, I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. Let's give her a round of applause as well.
Be free.
Yep, lots of exciting things to come for you in the future. Can you believe how far we've come since September? The Wake Up America show continues to build and grow, and it's all thanks to you. Drop us a super chat before we leave if you want to make a nice little donation. We appreciate that. If you don't want to give your revenue to YouTube, I totally get it. You can head over to the wakeupAmericaShow.com/support page and make a donation there. You can do it one time or you can do it monthly. Remember, if you do monthly, you get all kinds of awesome benefits and bonuses and perks. We'll make sure that you get entered into those monthly prize drawings. Or if you want something for your money now, you can go to apforlibertyshop.com and buy yourself an awesome piece of merchandise like our cool Valentine's Day shirts that are available over at apforlibertyshop.com, made by my lovely wife, Stephanie. So
I
check them out.
slaved away for hours.
We're going to have a great weekend, and then on Monday, things get radically stepped up. We've got a new employee starting who's going to help run the shop. It's just getting better and better and better. And it's thanks to the support of people like you, Corey Kleiber, Quest Fanning, Matt Unruh, Michael Nip, Tolly Owens, Al Johnson, Amanda Henry, Chris Morrill, all of our friends over there on the chat. It's nice to see you today, and I hope you enjoyed the little bonus segment. We're going to go take my wife to breakfast. I'll see you soon on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Petersen stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.